told your friend you're not okay.
Jungkook's 28th birthday should have been a moment of joy, celebration, and global cheer. From New York to Bangkok, from Tokyo to Mexico, his face adorned iconic landmarks, giant billboards, and even public transportation adorned in the proud purple of ARMY. But beneath the neon lights and sea of global love, an oddity raised a major question. Why was Park Jimin, the person closest to Jungkook, absent entirely? The question quickly turned into global speculation. Fans watching Jungkook's live broadcast on Weverse noticed something different. A strange silence behind his jokes, a small pause when he mentioned his health, and the occasional heavy look in his eyes. It wasn't just the absence of a birthday greeting from Jimin, but rather a profound absence, as if leaving a gap in the midst of the grand celebration. Since their debut, Jungkook and Jimin's relationship has been a constant focus. The two have grown together through rigorous training, ups and downs, and reaching the pinnacle of global success. They are often referred to as BTS's soulmates, a bond that extends far beyond the stage and music. So, when a birthday celebration as big as this took place without Jimin, many felt something was missing. In fact, some fans even said the global celebration felt empty without Jimin. How could the world's cheers erase personal pain if the most important person wasn't there? In Times Square, giant LED screens displayed Jungkook's smile. In Tokyo, the Sapporo Tower glowed purple. In Bangkok, tuk-tuks drove by with his face affixed to them. Even in India, giant billboards filled the city. The world celebrated Jungkook on a grand scale. Yet, amidst the frenzy, the shadow of Jimin's absence loomed ever more clearly. For many armies, the question resonated: what's the point of millions of lights if the one most important voice isn't heard? In his broadcast, Jungkook continued to entertain ARMY. He joked about his new piercing, his cracked tooth, and even humorous everyday moments. But some parts fell off. He repeatedly talked about his health, expressed gratitude for his family and ARMY, and even promised to take better care of myself. This simple sentence immediately sparked wild interpretations. Was he actually referring to Jimin's condition? Fans began to suspect that the tears seen behind the camera weren't just due to stress or loneliness, but a real sense of loss. But in the age of social media, the line between reality and interpretation is increasingly blurred. TikTok, Twitter, and even YouTube were filled with theories. Some believed Jimin was seriously ill, while others accused HYB of deliberately covering up the truth. But in reality, there was no official statement. Jungkook himself never directly stated the reason for Jimin's absence. So, why was the world so convinced by the narrative that he was crying because of his best friend? This is where a major problem arises. Today's digital media doesn't just report, it also shapes perceptions. A pause in Jungkook's breath can be taken as evidence. A blank stare can be taken as a confession. The question is, can we still distinguish fact from fiction when emotions are stronger than reality? Spreading rumors without clear evidence is no trivial matter. When fans write, Jimin must be seriously ill, or Jungkook is crying because of her, isn't it the same as making them characters in a fabricated drama? We consume their emotions not as reality, but as spectacle. If Jimin's absence turns out to be due to personal reasons or a tight schedule, are we ready to accept the simple truth? Or would we prefer a sad story that feels dramatic and evokes empathy? Jungkook's birthday ultimately became more than just a global celebration. It turned into a reflection on how fandom and media shape reality. Was Jungkook really crying because of Jimin, or because of the burden of expectations he was carrying? Was Jimin truly sick, or just the victim of exaggerated rumors? What's certain is that this birthday showed the most human side of a global icon. That behind the cheers, billboards, and light-up parties, Jungkook is still a human being who can feel lonely, can get hurt, and can miss a friend. But the story wasn't over. In fact, after the party ended, discussions about Jungkook and Jimin expanded, as if opening a new chapter in BTS's dynamic journey. Fans weren't just talking about what they saw, but also what they couldn't see. In international forums, ARMY began to question, are we overinterpreting? Some reminded us that birthdays aren't just moments to celebrate, but also a reflection of the pressures and idol experiences. Jungkook not only has to smile for millions, he also has to endure endless expectations. In this context, Jimin's absence became a larger symbol, a small gap that quickly escalated into global drama. Many argued that this was precisely proof of BTS's strong bond, because if it weren't for Jimin, the absence of any other member would have felt just as profound. It showed that their relationship wasn't just colleagues on stage, but a true family that truly enriched each other. And here's where the paradox resurfaced. The world celebrated Jungkook on an unparalleled scale, yet the focus fell on the unseen, the tears that were never confirmed, and the silences that were never explained. It's as if humans are more captivated by mysteries than simple truths. Social media then became an arena for narrative battles. Some reassured by saying, "Jimin will definitely appear later," while others intensified rumors that his health was declining drastically. Every sentence, every video clip became fuel for speculation. This is where we see how the global fandom is not just a spectator, but also a writer of stories that shape global opinion. Interestingly, this incident also showed how Jungkook remained steadfast. Despite his apparent vulnerability, he didn't offer excessive clarification. He simply emphasized his gratitude, responsibility, and promise to live a healthier life. Perhaps this is the implicit message we should all grasp, that true happiness isn't determined by big parties or lavish gifts, but by the sincere presence of those closest to him. And if Jimin is indeed facing personal challenges, then his decision to be absent could be a wise choice, to maintain privacy, to heal, or to give Jungkook space to continue shining. This is precisely where the maturity of their relationship is revealed, which doesn't always have to be displayed in public, but remains evident behind the scenes. And interestingly, the moment didn't stop at the exhibition hall. After the official event concluded, numerous international media outlets highlighted how Taeyang managed to shift the public's focus from the exhibited artwork to an unplanned performance art. His presence, complete with his confident yet calm facial expressions, led many to believe that Taeyang was not just a K-pop idol, but a true representation of how a modern artist can transform themselves into a living work of art. Comments from art critics also poured in. Some even wrote that Taeyang had successfully presented a new interpretation of the relationship between popularity, art, and global culture. With his background as a singer and performer, he was considered to possess a unique ability that was difficult to match: the unification of the world of popular entertainment with the world of high-end fine art. The impact of Taeyang's presence at Paradise Art Night Freeze Seoul 2025 also spread to social media. Hashtags about him dominated global trends, accompanied by thousands of photos and videos uploaded by invited guests and fans present at the venue. Many fans emphasized that Taeyang was not just a guest, but an icon who enhanced the entire event. What further enhanced the magical atmosphere of the evening was Taeyang's interactions with the artists, curators, and VIP guests. He was not only the center of attention, but also a bridge between the worlds of K-pop and contemporary art, two fields previously considered distinct, yet through his presence, they seemed to merge. Furthermore, given his track record of frequently demonstrating his interest in the art world, it was clear that this moment was more than just a fleeting appearance. Taeyang seemed to be affirming that his path into the world of modern art had begun, and that in the future, the public would likely see more major collaborations between him and important names in the international art industry. That evening, Taeyang was more than just a guest star, but the center of a larger narrative, that art and music can go hand in hand, and his presence was living proof of how the boundaries between these worlds can transcend.